When I was a kid, all I wanted was to feel like I was cool. Being cool means something different for everyone. I thought it meant two things: traveling the world and having a girlfriend. I wasn't a cool kid growing up. I was shy and didn't have any money, so I spent a lot of time alone on my computer. That dream never went away though, so I made a goal for myself that one day I would go on a trip with the girl that I love. Years later, I'm working on a frozen lake filming the new Frankenstein movie when I meet Ashley. She was cool in ways I didn't even know existed. And I knew, the moment we met, she was the one. We both had personal rules about never dating a coworker, but we went on a date. And another. And another. 16 months later, we're still going strong. We call each other Goose because a few months in, we played a video game together where you both play as geese bothering people, and it just kind of stuck. Now they're everywhere in my apartment. I've never dated anyone as long as Ashley. Most milestones have been brand new to me. As you get more serious with someone, you start to think about the big questions. We don't want to get married or have kids anytime soon. Our next big milestone was to go on a trip together. You never really know someone until you travel with them. We decided on Peru to try and go find the lost city of Machu Picchu. We had 10 days. The idea was that we would fly 10 hours plus a layover until arriving in Lima. We'd take in the sights, then drive down the coast to a port town called Paracas for a boat tour of their archipelagos. Next, we would head a few hours inland to Huacachina for sandboarding and dune buggies in the desert. Then we'd make our way back to Lima to catch a flight to the mountains of Cusco, where we'd have a day to explore some ruins and adjust to the altitude, before finally hiking our way up to Machu Picchu. In total, the trip was about 6,500 kilometers. It'd be the farthest either of us had ever been from home. Before we knew it, we were on our way. Out, toilet seats, not very common in Peru. When you're falling in love, it's easy to mistake having little things in common meaning you're right for each other. The first thing Ashley and I ever talked about was liking the same movies, so I thought we were soulmates. When things are new, you don't want to rock the boat with big questions. But as time goes on, it's important to know what each other's values are. Because if you don't align on the big stuff, that's how you get your heart broken. On our third date, I asked Ashley about some of her goals and dreams in life, and they were similar to mine. It's having the big stuff in common that makes someone special, but it's tough figuring out a small difference from a big one. The way I see it, love is compatibility. It's a mix of what you want, what you compromise, and what you tolerate. The trick is to be honest about what you want and find the thin balance between each other. At first, you start small with differences like where to eat or whose friends to hang out with. When I was younger, I used to compromise and tolerate too much because I was scared of heartbreak and just wanted to be compatible with someone. Those relationships never lasted long, and it took me a while to figure this out because I didn't know any better. When you really like someone, it gets harder to be honest about what you want because you're afraid they might want something different. Because when you get to the big stuff, things like career, marriage, kids, or where you want to live, those aren't things you can compromise. They make you who you are. Ashley and I think we want the same things, but this trip still felt like a big step towards putting all that to the test.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through
Hola.
the... Hola!
Hola, hola,
Randy.
Randy, vamos. Venga.
There you go, Goop. Alone in the desert. Nice job. Nice job, my love.
Yikes. It's in my socks, hold on. Oh, it's a video?
When we started planning this trip, the question that kept coming up was, why Peru? For a first trip together, why not something smaller, easier, like a weekend away or an all-inclusive? We'd technically been dating for 16 months, but the truth is, we haven't spent a lot of that time together. Last summer, Ashley was in the UK for work, and for the last 8 months, I'd been so busy, we only saw each other on weekends. So I guess I had a lot of guilt from working so much that a big trip would make up for some of that. There's a fine line between travel, bringing people together, and driving them apart. It's a non-negotiable for both of us, so I really wanted to be compatible in that way. I just thought a big trip where we had to depend on each other would give us the quality time we'd been missing lately. I think in our attempt to do everything and spend all day together, we may have oversteered. When we got to Cusco, the altitude was bothering her, and she wasn't sleeping well because we were getting up at 4 every day to catch the next plane, train, or whatever. Plus, every room I booked ended up being absolutely terrible. To the master bedroom with the broken bed frame, so you can't use it.
Yeah, just imagine this, but like also reeks of poo at the same time.
Oh yeah, it smells like absolute shit. The reason a trip like this has always been a dream of mine is adventure gets you out of your comfort zone. And when things don't go to plan, that's when you learn the most about someone. It was here when I realized just how cool Ashley really is.
Hey. No. You stay in your chair. Excuse me. You.
Cusco is 11,000 feet above sea level. That's higher than just about anywhere in Canada. We originally wanted to rent ATVs and ride them out to some ruins, but with Ashley not feeling great and us leaving for Machu Picchu tomorrow, I just didn't think it was the best idea. If the roles were reversed, I wouldn't want to be coddled, but when you love someone, their well-being is more important than yours. Ashley wanted to go for it, and it was here that we discovered a whole new way we're compatible. When Ashley's faced with a problem, she doesn't ignore it or run away. She deals with it. She said she didn't come all this way just to sit in bed. She wanted adventure, and it was my job to trust her. This is a girl who works 80 hours a week, volunteers, and on her first vacation in 3 years, wants to spend it hiking a mountain. She's sleeping like shit, feels like shit, but she didn't let any of that bother her. She just kept going. You never really know someone until you travel with them. That's who Ashley is. I used to think traveling the world and having a girlfriend made you cool, but even in my wildest dreams, I didn't think I'd ever deserve someone like her. Because the truth is, Ashley's cooler than the girl of my dreams. She's real. I've known all along that if we made it through this trip together, there'd be even bigger questions in the future. But if we could find new ways we're compatible here, maybe one day we'll find other ways we're compatible too. The final hike to Machu Picchu is about 5,700 feet, or 4 times the Empire State Building. Every couple traveling together for the first time wants it to go well. Nobody wants to go on a trip like this just to have their heart broken. As you get older, the world gets more confusing. The rules change. What you want, what you'll compromise or tolerate. You'll find new ways you're compatible and not. But the one thing that shows me we can make it is we're both willing to take the risk. We flew halfway across the world knowing there was a chance it wouldn't work out. To put your heart on the line and give it a shot, even if it might not work, it's really rare and it's really special. Maybe it's too early to say if we're gonna get married, have kids, and spend our lives together. Maybe it was never fair to try and gauge that off a trip like this. We're still young and have a lot of life left ahead of us. Maybe for now, what I can say is, I see that with you.